What's up everybody? Today I wanted to jump on here and talk about my latest photo shoot that I am super excited about, just really passionate, happy, all of the above about. And it is the photo shoot that I am going to link down in here. It was a product photo shoot and I wanted to take you through the step-by-step of creating this entire atmosphere and kind of give you guys a bit of a taste of really what goes into a project of this scale. This was one of the product photo shoots that I've done that was actually one of the largest ones that I've done, the most inclusive, all that sort of stuff. So it was really exciting and I'm excited to kind of just let you guys know about the process. Let's go. So first and foremost, the client reached out to me a couple months back, maybe back in May, and mentioned that he wanted to photograph some product shots for his website. He had a website that was super outdated and he said he needed photos with real people using his mattresses. So we said, okay, let's figure this out. We broke it down and figured out what types of models he was looking for. Obviously, for a mattress like this one, which is a mattress that moves up and down and has the remotes and all that sort of stuff, it's more so tailored towards people who are in the 50, 45 plus category. While young people would absolutely love it and have multiple uses for it, logistically it is something that is usually for the older demographic. So we wanted to include a couple who is in the older demographic, then you wanted like a mid-age sort of couple going on, and then of course a mother, child, family sort of setting, just to kind of showcase the different ranges of individuals that could use this mattress for their home and their family. After figuring that out, our next step was figuring out who we were going to use for this photo shoot. This process was a process that I thought was going to be a lot easier, but it ended up proving to be a bit difficult. The first category was obviously the 45 plus category. For me personally, I know a lot of people who are in the 45 and under category. Everybody who I know who's in the 45 plus category, they don't really have the experience that's necessary to properly be able to get those types of shots. Obviously, it's things like parents, it's family members, it's family friends, things of that sort. And when you're doing a shoot like this, friends and family sometimes are just not enough. You need someone who has that experience who can say, okay, I'm gonna do an angle like this, an angle like this, an angle like this, so on and so forth. So I really had a tricky time. The way that I worked to kind of get these models for that particular demographic was one, social media. I was looking for different recommendations. I posted it on my Instagram, on my Facebook, and said, hey, I'm looking for this demo, this age bracket, who's available? And as I kind of suspected, I was not greeted with very many results because my audience is in the under category. I did get one person who ended up actually being the person that we ended up using, but it took me posting it a few times to get this person on the demo. When it came to the female, I had 0 leads, like a 0. So I was pretty pressed on it. So I started looking at different platforms and tried to figure out what can I use to find actors and or models in this demo. And I realized that I was a part of Backstage. And on Backstage, they have a section where you can look through models, you can look through actors, and you can specify what location you need them in, age ranges, all that sort of stuff. And it really served to be an amazing tool for me. I created a deck for the client and I included a few screenshots of different individuals that I was able to find on the platform. So we looked through the different decks, we found a few females, we found quite a few males, and we ended up sending it to the client. The client picked his favorites and his second favorites and his third favorites, and for the women, we had a mixed kind of bunch of some available, some unavailable. And then the men, I had a lot of not luck with because a lot of people were unavailable or coming late or weren't interested or something. And then fortunately, within that deck of people that he did choose was one individual who did reach out through an Instagram sort of posting and was kind of referred to this project through a mutual friend. And so fortunately when he picked him, I was like, okay, fingers crossed. I haven't worked with this guy, but I'm hopeful that he at least says yes, because these other guys, they were saying no, not available, so on and so forth. And fortunately he said yes, and then our female model responded very timely and she said yes, and honestly it was like the best freaking match I could have asked for. To talk a little bit more about this process and about the process of finding models who are in that age range, What I found kind of challenging, that I didn't realize I would find challenging, was, you know, people who are 50 plus, they have jobs, they work, you know, they have families, they have errands. Of course, they are actors, they are models, so on and so forth, but they're busy. And so, of course, you have to not only have a good enough price point to get them out, but also you have to really figure out, like, do they have a day job, do they not? And that was something that I didn't really sit and think about, because people who are 45 under, they tend to have a bit more flexible schedules. They tend to not have that concrete, I'm working 9 to 5, I got a family, this, that, the other. So for the models that I had for the younger demo, it was quick. For the older demo, it took some time to kind of feed through, which I thought was interesting and something that I just genuinely did not think about. The next part that I wanted to talk about is obviously the 45 and under. That was a lot easier of a process for me finding those models, because they were all people that I have either worked with or was forwarded back in the past. So that made it a little bit easier for me to just kind of be like, okay, I got these people, and that part was easy. Then when we had the kids, the younger demo that we needed to do with a parent, that proved to be tricky, because not every parent wants their kid to be in the limelight. Not every kid who's adorable has a parent who wants to be in the limelight. So you're kind of dealing with different factors of, you know, things that could kind of go amiss. Especially in the case of, let's say the kid is good but the parent isn't, or the parent is good but the kid isn't. You know, you're kind of trying to figure out on the fly, like, okay, is there somebody that I know that maybe could pass as the mom or dad? Probably not. Do I get them on board? How do we do this? But that one proved to be tricky. We did end up finding a model for this particular photo shoot, and it was great, all was good, but unfortunately the day of, we had a last minute cancellation due to something that was out of the parents' control. So we had to scramble, we had to figure it out on the fly and say, okay, how are we going to make this work? We found a space, we had it available to a certain period of time, and obviously we're not transporting small materials, we're transporting an entire mattress into our location. So that proved to be extremely difficult to do, because of course you can't really reschedule. So fortunately I had an assistant with me, his name was Sean, and he helped me out the absolute most. We sat there, we brainstormed in between on our lunch break and said, who do we know, who do we not know? And before we got the yes or no confirmation from our original person, because they mentioned that they may not be able to do it last minute, we were already sending text messages out, already sending them. Unfortunately, one of them came through, and we were able to not only get a mother and child, but an entire family, thanks to, again, our amazing connection, whose name was Vasily, which, again, super appreciative of him, super appreciative of Sean, who really helped piece everything together. And together we just were able to get all of our people together. And that was the process of really the casting portion.